Hello everybody, today I'll be showing you how to make a JoJo stand in Roblox. Here's the one I've made. It's pretty simple mechanics, it's just a wheel with two hinges connected by a bar. You just add it along to the stand I've made. All it takes is to, make it invisible and that's it. I'll show you the process of making one in a second. So a little tip, if you don't have anything like skeletal, you can always use balloons. Just get in your seat. Make sure, if you can, make sure the cake's invisible and make it unanchored. If you don't have this tool, then you just can't do it, sadly. But you could use glass if you want, because that can work kinda. But if you want it to be anchored the whole time, connect it to the wall or floor. And just make it unanchored. Or also make the floor here, stuff like that, like the non-collision. Like this. Oh, wait. I forgot about that too. On that. See, it's like this, not really looking good, but when you can, but it also does move, as you can see it just did a flip. It moves by itself, kinda. Sometimes that can happen. If you just turn around, that should fix, but if you use a car seat, and then just hold S or W, doesn't matter what you want to do. But if you can, make it so there's non-collision, or else, it'll just start hitting the floor like that. But it depends on what you want it to be. If you want it flying, you can just copy my mechanics that I showed earlier. If you want it to be on the floor, then you can just make the mechanics sideways. If you want it to just be standing there, you don't have any mechanics. If you want certain parts of it to move, then make it so only certain parts to move with hinges, wheels, stuff like that. So anyways, here's how to make everything in that. You just scale this down. You can choose how big you want this. I'm just going to do a small pattern. And go over here. I'm going to have mine going back on this one. You can have it go front, because the more front it is, the more stable it will be in the back. But the more back it is, the more stable it will be in the front. So I'm going to go with back in this. You can make these have a separate fin, a separate gap. Bigger gap, smaller gap, just in case you want it to be like bigger or smaller, like the length for what they're doing, like flying or stuff like that. So now you just want to do this, scale it outwards. It doesn't matter if it's a bit on the edge. Have it to the point you want it at. I'll just do a normal mech and then I'll show you a walking one, which is just a one-step difference. An easier way to make the robot is to just like stand or get a seat and then just go underneath it. So we're gonna end up with something like this. So if you can, make it scale like that. Go underneath it with a seat, get a cake, jump. You can also scale this back now. And just do it. Very simple, honestly. Just get the job done. So the mechanics I'm showing you have with a lot of things, like walking mechs, waves, stuff like that. like moving floors, earthquakes, which you could also show, I guess. So in reality, this right here is just copying off your character model. Also, if you're doing this, you should use a blocky character model. It's the easiest to do with. Like, definitely the easiest. I use the hands on this one. This is my 5th time doing this tutorial today. That's why I'm so tired, because it keeps on like just getting errors and not working. So after you've done the legs, you just need to place down a car seat. Just use the legs quickly. Okay. Make sure your stand is no collision. Remove your cake if you can and the seat. And now just make sure to pull through it. Make all of that invisible. Right now I'm doing one that just goes up and down, does flips, stuff like that, but if you want actual walking ones, I can show you that too. It's just this mechanic but sideways. Okay, let me just change all of this now. Now just place down a normal seat. If you can, try get it lower, like to here. You see car seat there. Cake. Add a pulse that connects to the wall. Okay, remove the cake, save, and then when you're done, just make that invisible. That invisible. That invisible. Now save again and then anchored, hold W. You might see some arms might fall off, that's just it not being connected properly. That's an easy fix. Just show you that. Sometimes you'll see you'll get stuck like in the floor, it's really annoying. That's just because that is getting stuck on that, you see. You can just scale that down if you can, but if you scale it like that, that will happen. So now for the walking one, I'll just use a cube from now on because it's the easiest way to show. Just anchored block, boom, bop, seat on that this time. Now just this. Make sure it goes up a bit too. It's more natural. They'll only be hopping, by the way, so if you want them to have like an actual walking mechanic, you need to make that yourself with wheels and hinges. Oh, I can't speak. No, it's pretty simple again. Just connect them. Sometimes it's better if you have it like this instead of just a straight line. Connect from the closest point to the mirror you can. Now find where your stand's going to be. And I'm just going to use a cube, but just make sure you're using a blocky avatar and it fits your size. Okay, and don't do the mistake of the last one. When you're done with this, you need to make sure this is flat like this. Now save. Make sure your character is non-collision. Make everything else invisible as this. Okay. Make sure your wheel torque's maxed out. Your wheel spin on the other hand, make sure it's on 1. Okay, invisible. Oh, messed up. I'll just do this. I think it's faster. Okay, now just go here, get a seat, get a pole here and there. Make sure these are in this. Let's hold W. Actually, sometimes it'll tip you, which is really annoying. Even if your cake's solid like that, yeah, it should still work. So, and make sure that's non-collision too, because it gets stuck on that. As you can see, it has a walking animation. If it was an actual character, at least it would have a walking animation. It's just a cube for now. If you want it to stay on the floor though, then make it so it's faster. Like I'd say around 5 to 10 wheel spin. And then make it so the wheels are higher up. Or else it's going to go to the floor kind of like this. That's it, make a JoJo stand in Build Wait for Treasure. See ya.